Oh, who's saying that?
It's Vince. I have to call in.
Okay, well, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And you're live.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to welcome everybody to the Public Works Committee meeting. It is Tuesday, October 19th at, let's see, the time is 3:20 p.m. And I want to apologize for being so late today. Our finance meeting went really over time. There are three things on our agenda today. The first one is a short and sweet one, update on Nicole Day. Adam Winder, are you present? I don't see him here. I guess he's not here. I guess he logged out. All right. Oh, we'll have to get an update in 2 weeks on what happened with Nicole Day. Next item on the agenda is discussion on towing ordinance. Chief Snyder.
Yes, ma'am.
We are set to go with this, with the towing ordinance. This has been in effect, and I think a lot of this has gotten lost in the translation. From looking at this, this should have been, we should have had updates on this yearly, and we haven't kept up with this. And, and I don't think we would have paid attention if it wasn't for Leroy Stolfus that brought us to our attention. I don't know where to start with this. First of all, Chief, do you know who's on the towing committee? Do you have a list?
Actually, not in front of me. I have the ordinance in front of me. One of the things is, you're absolutely right. This is another thing that needs to be identified and handled. When we first took over, this is one of the things that we brought to the solicitor's attention. So all that stuff is in the hands of him right now in terms of what we can do and what we're going to do moving forward with this. When we came on and we're looking for all the verbiage and the contract and stuff, we had some difficulty as an admin here finding those within the police department. So I'll be the first to admit that, yes, we got sidetracked a little bit because obviously there's lots of other things that we're trying to take care of that take precedence within the department. So Mr. Stoltz, who did reach out before, and I emailed to the solicitor. So it is something that we have to follow up on and look into. I don't know enough about it.
Leroy, could you please mute?
Yes, sorry about
So we can hear what the chief is saying. I think what Mr. Stolfus is asking is he would like to participate in the program itself. And looking through this, it's up to the towing committee to see who can participate in this. And I don't remember, I know I was on council, but it's been so long ago, I don't remember how this all came about. And I think we have to readdress this to see who is doing the towing, how it's being done again, and if it's fair to everybody that wants to participate.
Absolutely agree. That's something that I've been hearing across the board. Not a whole lot of people know a whole lot about it, so we're trying to ascertain the information for that so we can proceed. And when Mr. Stoltz put in his request to be added to that, that's somewhat what prompted this. So we're trying to get the answers for how this is supposed to work and how Mr. Stoltz would be added to the tow association. So that it will be forwarded to the solicitors to see how we need to follow up on that and get something more locked in place. So moving forward, we don't have all these questions as we do right now.
Okay. David, Vincent, do you have anything to say? Do you have any questions? David.
So this towing committee that you're speaking about, do we have any more information on that? I don't see it within the ordinance, or maybe I missed it.
No, it's not in the ordinance. It's in the police department's hands.
That's what I'm talking about. We're trying to find that, Mr. Banks, and we've not been able to find that with the little bit that we did find. So we're working with the solicitors as we speak to try to come up with the answers that are being asked of us right now, so.
When you do get all these answers, looking at this, there's probably some language like everything else when we do ordinances and resolutions, that after a period of time, you see where things aren't working correctly, that maybe there should be some amendments made to this ordinance. Are you coming up with that, you know, when you discuss this with the solicitor, that this would have to come back to council to be, you know, approve some of the amendments to this?
Yes, if those are the recommendations that are made by the solicitor, absolutely.
Okay, and how soon do you think this could be accomplished?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I'll try to work on it as fast as I can. As you know, there's lots of other issues going on within the police department that we are trying to deal with. I'll be the first to admit the towing association was at the forefront of that, but that's something that we'll follow up on and try to get that rolling again. I don't know if you're talking
Lonnie,
about, you're on mute.
Councilwoman Katz, you're currently muted.
I am sorry, I didn't know how that happened. Yeah, I can understand exactly what you're saying, Chief, that, you know, there are a lot of other things on your plate at this point in time. But I think Mr. Stolfus would really like to, you know, get involved as quick as possible. Mr. Stolfus, if you take yourself off mute, you can ask a question.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to look at this issue for me. I do have some questions. I have some questions about the ordinance, but I mean, they don't have to be answered today. But I guess the biggest challenge for me so far has even been to start this conversation. It just got to a lot of dead ends in the process of this, and it's been frustrating, but I've been trying to be very patient. I understand, Chief, that you have a lot going on. I know that, and I appreciate you looking into it. I mean, I don't know where we would start on this. I have some questions about where the monies are going that is collected through the ordinance, first of all, and then secondly is why that is happening. But the first question and the biggest elephant in the room is the ordinance has a lot of language in here to discipline any tower that is part of this association, but there's no mechanism in it to become a new participant or a new tower. However, on page 5, there is some language for an applications of license, but that's a dead end. That it just, there's some form somewhere that supposedly has to be filled out. I'm not exactly sure, but I mean, that's probably a start, would be page 5. And then there's also some things that are going on inside the association that I'm sure, Chief, that you're probably not aware of. And if we could have a conversation, if you want to have a private conversation about that sometime, I would be willing to do that, or we can do it in a public forum too. I mean, I don't know how that would be handled, but just the nuts and bolts of the daily activities that are going on inside the association from the outside looking in that are wrong. And it's frustrating from my perspective, because there's better solutions than what's going on, and there's some better ideas that I would like to bounce off somebody. So I mean, I have a lot of questions, but you know, if I guess the first one is, you know, how do we go about following up from page 5, the licensor, the next step?
if you don't mind, my recommendation would be Mr. Stoltzfus is to come in. And we go over your questions, because one of the things I like to do is I like to get the solicitor on board.
Yeah.
To be present, or at least that we can provide the solicitor with the questions as well. To make
Chief,
sure. Go ahead.
I would be more than happy to come in. If you want to bring the solicitor in, and the three of us sit down, that would be a wonderful start, I think. And that way, we're all on the same page. And I would absolutely love to do that. Yeah.
I can't speak for the solicitor, but I'll make the request to the solicitor. But I can say that we can have a sit down ourselves, but I'll make an invite to the solicitor and try to get some answers here, because there's some questions too that I like to have those same answers.
Perfect. Yeah, if you can make that happen, you let me know when and where, and I'll be sure to be there.
Chief,
You
do you
do have
have Mr.
yeah, my-
Stoll's contact?
Okay, yeah, Captain here is telling me he has his number, so
Okay,
we'll
thank
reach
you.
out to him. I don't want you to put your number out over there and stuff, but we'll reach out and then we'll make something happen.
Perfect.
So I apologize for this kind of getting sidetracked with the towing association. A lot of things going on in the department that we're trying to get.
And I realize that. I do. I realize you guys have a full plate, new administration, and the turmoil at City Hall with the water. I get it. I do.
Well, let's do that. We'll give you a call. Captain here has your number, he says. We'll give you a call, we'll set up a time and hopefully get you in by the end of this week, or maybe even beginning next week, if that'll work. And then I'll make a
All right,
request to the solicitor, see if they would be interested in sitting in on that meeting. If not, at least the questions that you have that we can pass on and get some answers.
Perfect.
That'll work.
Fantastic. Okay, I
All right.
thank you very much.
All right.
Mr.
Thank you,
Stoll and
guys.
Chief.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you for your indulgence, Mr. Stoll.
You're welcome.
I think we can go back to item number 1. I see Adam Winder is here.
Yeah, well, he's actually out. This is Scott. I stepped in for him.
Hi, Scott. Did you come? Okay. People wanted to know an update on Nicole Day. Do you have an answer to that on Logue Street?
Yeah, so as we gave UGI our recommendations, and we haven't heard back yet. So right now the ball's in their court.
Okie dokie. We don't want to drop things. That's, we want people to know that we still are working on things.
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to, an update on that. That's all we needed.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Thank you.
Let's see, item number 3, any related items?